Good morning, everybody. I'm going to be the first speaker. This is going to be a voluntary meeting. Anybody who speaks after me, they volunteer to speak. The recording is being broadcasted to YouTube. It's going to be the State of the Regiment meeting. You could find the link in the media channel. Additionally, if you have any questions during or after the meeting is concluded, I'll honor all those questions. I'll answer them articulately and as honestly as I can possibly. If at any point I don't feel like answering a question, I'll just state that. And that goes for anybody else. If you don't feel like answering or you don't want to answer or partake, this is all voluntary. The subject of today's meeting is going to be any questions that you guys have about the regiment or me as leader of the regiment. There are other leaders of the regiment. I don't consider myself the sole leader of this regiment. If at any time you have questions for me or them, you could post them in the public unsecure state of the regiment. You can ask any questions there that come up during the course of this meeting and or today. I will try to get to them and answer them. For transparency, this is all recorded and streamed, and you guys will be able to access this at any time at your leisure. It is going to be on YouTube unlisted, meaning you would have to go into the Discord and click on the media file in order to access the record of this meeting. So I've gotten a lot of questions. There's a lot of things that I'd like to talk about, but I value your guys' time, and since this is all voluntary, I'm going to try to stick to the script being a list of questions. I've seen the questions beforehand. I'm open to any questions that I haven't seen before, and I'll answer them honestly, or I won't answer them, but I am making myself and honoring myself to I will answer all questions. So one of the topics of discussion today, we're going to be our relations with other regiments and future operations. And funnily enough, the first question I got, what are our plans with SG and what does it include in terms of our furthering our relationships with them? I think SG is a small blip on a map. Our plan, if you're asking me what our specific plans with them are, I don't plan to work with them or lead the regiment to working with them in the future. I don't like their leader. I'm not into disparaging people's characters. I will say that there is significant evidence that the SG member has values that don't align with our values. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's easy to find. But I'm not going to, this isn't something that I'm going to go into when where I'm listing names and disparaging people's characters, because I don't know the truth. And nobody truly knows the truth about an individual unless you see that. So we're just going to honor that somebody's character is what they make it, right? You only have one reputation, and SG's reputation with us in terms of their leadership is not good. We don't have a problem with SG members, but we're not going to be working with SG in the future unless they're under new leadership. In terms of furthering our relationship with them, we're not going to be. And I think there's a broader point to be made is that any regiment that works with us or that we work with is all voluntary, and it's subject to change at any time. Any regiment that we see as a net negative for the Foxhole community or our community, we probably won't work with. I'd feel confident in saying most of the regiments that are out there are a net positive because we have worked with multiple other regiments on and off the record. And it's all gone well, right? So if you have any questions about that, you could post them in the State of the Regiment question channel, and public unsecure is a separate thread. Next question, will we organize shared operation with our allies? We have, and we will, and we still can. We've done joint operations with NU7 and Halberd, to list a few. We haven't specifically worked with 82DK. However, we've been on the battlefield during operations and worked with their tank crews. A lot of it boils down to either people willing to contact other regiments and either ask if they need our help, ask if there's an operation they'd like to join, or if there's an operation that we can join in, whether we're the primary or secondary role. So yeah, we do that. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people aren't savvy to, and I always encourage people to take on, leadership roles if it's fun for them. But then again, it's all voluntary. So most of the time, if you're not seeing something, just ask, and we'll let you know. We keep records and files of all regiments. We'll let you know if it is happening, if it has happened, and if it's going to continue to happen, or if we're going to start doing it. So yes to that question. Next question. Are we considering establishing any shared training or logistic efforts? So when it comes to training and logistic, I want to separate those two. The answer to that question, just in terms of yes or no, is yes. But when it comes to training, we need people to train, which we have a lot of, and we need people to do the training, which it's hard in a leadership position telling people or asking people to do stuff when we might not know if it's not fun. So we usually take that on a volunteer basis. Are you comfortable with training? And most of the time, if somebody's interested in something, one or two things can happen, right? I'm very interested in setting up a way to train people via video and on hands experience. And that can be done with, hey, do you want to conduct a training operation? You guys can sit down in a channel and you guys can use the YouTube activity tab with Discord, and you guys can all watch a video together. And if anybody has any questions, you can ask those questions. You can watch it at whatever speed you want to do. It takes as long as it needs to take. And then you can go out there in the field and do it. So yeah, that's in the works, and it's relatively easy to do. I make videos. Everybody knows I make videos. It's not a secret. I'm willing to, put in the effort to make public videos specifically tailored to train new people, which I have a few out there, but we can even be more specific, and it needs to be. Logistical efforts. We do have established logistical efforts. They are good. We have experienced people doing it. We're dealing with a lot of stuff behind the scenes right now in terms of partisan issue, relations with other regiments, which our standing with other regiments is actually good, contrary to a minority belief. 82DK has no problem with us. They actually like us. Same with Noble. Riplo, we had a disagreement with at the beginning of the war. To my understanding, they don't have any issue with us. IG likes us. We don't have those kind of issues. So logistical efforts are not strained in that sense. It's just mainly partisans and then manpower, right? Like we can only do so much with a few talented people. Our logistical team is small but mighty, just based off of experience. And we're always looking for new people. Again, it's all voluntary, so it can only grow or shrink depending on how many people we have doing it. It goes to our next topic and our next question. It's going to be on recruitment and role assignment. How will recruitment policies be adjusted to prove effectiveness? So the answer to that, the simple one, is it has been changing, and I believe it has been improving its effectiveness. It will continue to change, whether it's listed in policies and procedures, a definitive change or not, is irrelevant to the fact that it has been changing a lot. When we first started recruiting people, it's always conscription based, right? You get them in there, you try to get them to press F1 and join the Discord. And now we have different roles assigned for a variety of different reasons. One's mainly security. Two is to keep accountable of people that are just joined the Discord. They're not sure if they want to stay, so they remain in conscript role. Conscript is a new role I will talk about in just a second here, but we basically give you this preliminary role to see if you'll stay long enough to gain further access into the regiment. Conscript roles you guys are part of the regiment. It's just a name that needs to be assigned to you in order for us to keep track of people who come and go, right? So if you're a conscript if you don't care about the conscript in front of your name and you leave it there for a week to 2 weeks and you consistently play with us, it'll just disappear on its own. But if you don't like the conscript role and you partake in one or two operations that we conduct on a regular basis, I'm comfortable with saying that you probably lose that conscript role within 1 to 2 days, and that's just for security reasons. Most of the time, people trying to quote unquote spy, right? And we'll talk about terms later, how I feel about terms later. But quote unquote spy, usually they're not going to stick around for multiple operations, right? They're usually just trying to get quick information. And frankly, everything that we do is public anyway, right? The only real sensitive information is, how much resources we have, what's in lodging. You can only see that if you're part of designated teams. Do we plan to designate a primary focus test for next war similar to Callahans against this war? So that's a very fluid system. I know on multiple occasions, and you can look at the history. When we make announcements, me or Pequi or other people, we tend to choose a hex and tell you that that's where we're going. That's where we're going to be pushing. And generally speaking, it's been to the to the center hexes, and that's only because it's easy, right? It's easy to see on the map, or for me anyway. Or if there needs to be a general focus somewhere else for X, Y, and Z reason, we'll tell you to go there. It's really fluid. If you're a new player or you're an older player, I'm speaking to everybody here. You can easily change that by saying, "Hey, can we play here? I wanna host operation here." Or even if you don't want to host operation, "Hey, I want to see this part of the map. Do you think that we can go over here and see it?" There's definitely going to be a response. You're definitely probably going to get a response to either yes or no, and it's probably going to be 90% yes. It's like, yeah, we can coordinate over here. If there's something going on, maybe not, but most of the time, if there's nothing going on, we could definitely adjust that, depending on how the war flows. If it absolutely doesn't make sense, we'll probably just say no. And you can always ask why, and you might get an answer. Will we develop specialized groups for specific roles, tanking, infantry, naval, partisan, similar to our logistics teams? Yes, eventually it'll all come. We already have people who are very savvy and fond of tanking. We have people who know how to do naval combat. They are on leave, but we do have two people who specialize in that. So when we develop specialized groups like our logic team, a certain level of responsibility gets created. I'm not opposed to doing that so long as it remains fun and friendly for everybody, right? So when we have people step up that say, "Hey, I want to be in charge of this role," or I want to do this, that's absolutely appropriate, right? Because we do have a logi team, we do have a logi leader, we have people that coordinate on logistics, and every now and then we have designated tank squads, right? We can preemptively designate squads and name squads or groups, but that doesn't mean those groups won't play other roles, right? So that's my hesitation with assigning roles, is telling people what to do. We don't want to ever. I don't ever want to put out that perception, right? That you're being told to do this, stick to doing this. You're good at doing this. Don't do anything else. Obviously, that doesn't make any sense to me. It shouldn't make any sense to you, unless you just like rigid structure. But yes, if you want a role and you think it'd be good to take a leadership position and you want to stand out from the rest as quote unquote, expert or more than a novice, we can definitely assign groups and roles, and you can go to them to look for leadership and guidance of what we're doing. That's absolutely acceptable. We can develop those roles for you. It's really easy to do. It's just a Discord role, and probably an announcement. War 118 preparations. Are there any anticipation for major changes? Major changes for War 118, in game or otherwise. Yes. The War 118 is going to be an update. They've already announced it. They are going to be next week. I believe they're going to be announcing the update. Anything that is out there about what the update might be is pure speculation, because we don't know, right? Like, the devs don't message me. The devs don't message. They probably message particular people, but you never know what the devs actually have planned unless you see a screenshot from a dev saying, "Yeah, we're doing this." And then that's a little more room to suspect that that's probably happening. But for us, yes, and that's going to be answered in the next in one of the following questions, and mainly it's going to be What measures will be implemented to secure tanks and SPGs concerning it's been a concern this war? So it has been a concern this war for two reasons: partisans and liberation. There's a term that goes around, and there's two terms that actually go around. It's theft, thief, and then steal or stealing. I'm going to be perfectly clear with my interpretation of these words. I use them because I concede to the ideology that that's what everybody else says, that's what everybody else believes it is. Theft, thievery, stealing, these are crimes, right? And what is a crime? Right? It's a governmental penalty, right? There's This is just a concept. There's no theft, there's no stealing in Foxhole. It's all public. If somebody can get access to it, the devs intended it to be that way. Unfortunately, right? Like, it's just an unfortunate circumstance. I would probably more likely refer to it as taking work that isn't yours, because that's what it is, right? People come and they take work that isn't theirs, and then we lead to this, accusatory back and forth of theft, thieving, stealing. It's just people take your work and it sucks. You invest time and effort into a community, into logistics, and people are willing to take it or shit on it, for lack of a better definition or explanation. Our measurements are going to be next war. I have a preconceived conceptual idea, and I only say it like that because we haven't secured an area to build a base. We haven't secured an area to build a logistical base. We work with regiments. We don't work for regiments. So we need to be able to secure land next war in a hex, enough land to build a system, which I think I have a pretty good idea of how to do it. A system in which we can keep any tanks we build or buy safe, as well as keeping a facility secure. In terms of our resources, what's secure and what's not secure, I mean, that's up to the devs. It's not up to us. Whether or not our work is secure or not, that's up to the devs. But from partisans and from other players, I have a solution. And the solution is a secure compound that I'd have to design depending on where we're at. And it'll have to flow naturally unless I or one of us finds a big wide open space that nobody's using that's super flat and I can create a square structure. It would be perfect. But it's going to have to be fluid. Yes, there is a plan, and it's going to be secure facilities. It's going to be all hands on deck for the logistics team, including myself, because I would never tell somebody to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So I'll be there helping laying it out. It'll be better next war, trust me. Operational structure. Do current regulation regarding operations and preparation and after action reports discourage new players from initiating their own operations? No. And here's why. If it's not known already, after action reports are voluntary. Right? People do them if they feel like they want to do them. It's just something nice to do. It's a way to encourage other players and, make other players stand out. Operation preparations isn't hard either. Right? If you're a new player and you want to conduct an operation and you put in a requisition and it's approved, those requisitions get to that location within that time frame. If they don't, I'll help out. Other people will help out during the operation. So if you're a new player or an inexperienced player and you want to conduct an operation and you're not willing to fill out a requisition form, which is super simple and super easy, I don't know how else to help you. For example, like if you wanted to make a post and you don't know how to make a post, there is Operation Yoda conducted, and he wanted to do a tank operation. It was Operation Wielding Weaponry. He came up to me and he said, "Hey man, I want to host Operation. I know you can't play, but I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know how to post this stuff." And I said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." I posted the operation. There was no after action report. I helped him organize it. He didn't need any requisitions. It's as simple as just communicating, right? If you need requisitions, you fill out a requisition form. The Logi team has stuff they're sitting on that they're willing to help you out with. So it's fun. Some people like Logi, some people like hosting operations. The way we have operations set out, are not hard. It's just not difficult. If you have questions about it, please reach out. Anybody can conduct them or host them. Next question: what proposal strategies are planned for CG, including use of videos and general advertising? So we've been teetering around with how we advertise in terms of the wording. A lot of the player base that we have quite literally comes from the front lines in local comms. We do get a significant amount of people coming in responding to the advertisements we post in the Foxhole official. So that's constantly worked on and improved on and played with. Videos. I have conceptual ideas about videos. I'm currently in the process of collecting footage of group operations. I to my best knowledge, I'm like one of the few people that record operations, or at least game capture it with 1 minute times, timestamps within a 1 minute period. So whenever I show up to operation, I'll record. And the idea is, we have multiple scenes of CG members charging into battle or driving down a road with music playing. I'm very fond of, rock music or contemporary, you know, rock music. So those ideas are being teetered with. I'm only one person right now, right? So people start sending me video footage. I mean, we're all hands on board. You know what I mean? Like I can, if everybody sends me content, I can easily put that up. It's a little difficult, time management. Everybody's got real lives. So yes, we will work on that. Those are soon to come. It's just right now we got one person working on it, one person collecting footage. If anybody else is, please coordinate with me. Additional topics, conscriptions. Why do we have a conscription policy and how does it benefit CG? So yes, and I'll answer that more articulately. When I first started a regiment on Foxhole, it was not called CG. It was called a different name, and nobody knows about it. Nobody knew about it. The first regiment I created was like a number. It was like, I don't know. It was like the 41st or something. I don't know what it was. It wasn't lore. It was a channel that wasn't like this. It had all the same, it had the infos, the lores, the roles, the public unsecure, the public secure. And I put out advertisements for it, and nobody joined. I put it on Reddit. I put it on Foxhole official. I would ask people in game, "Hey, do you want to join a regiment?" And the in like 2 months, I had like 5 members. Like that's what it is. You put work into something, and sometimes it doesn't happen. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to start a new regiment. It's going to be a light role play regiment. It's going to have, more things, bigger things, better things. We're going to work with other people. And people are not going to have a choice. Because I'm going to recognize everybody as a regiment member or an ally, whether or not they join or not. And they're always going to be welcome to come back. And the concept of conscription was adopted by me, and I have a picture of when I first created the Discord, 1 member, and a month later I have a picture of the Discord with over 100. And now we are at, and let me look how many members we have. I know we are over 200. We are over 250 members. So this happened with around a 2-month time span, 250 members. We have an audience of multiple people right now. We're recruited multiple different ways. A lot of the ways that these people were recruited, your peers were recruited, is through conscription, right? That's how we populate the masses. So why do we have the conscription policy? So you have people to play with. Simple as that. If you want to play Foxhole alone, you could still be a part of the Discord. You don't have to play with anybody. But if you're somebody who likes having a team and likes coordination, which it seems like anybody who joins the Discord at least likes that, you have a way to do that, and it's through conscription. If you see somebody on the battlefield that's either a new player or an old player and they don't have a place and you like hanging out with them, you have the power to conscript them. You have the power to get them to join. And if they're really good, they'll probably make member within a day or two, right? If they're really active, that's what'll happen. So how should CG members encourage and carry out conscription? You go out there, use local chat, use squad chat, coordinate, have fun with people, and if they like what you're putting out, and you think they're cool, invite them. They don't even have to have a mic. They could just be a new player, and you could be helping them out. Right? We're a home for every player that plays Foxhole, and there's certain values that we like to abide by, we like to take up, and they're in our information page. And if you think the people are of good morals and they like the game and they're having fun and you think you can help them have more fun, invite them. Why not? Examples of successful conscription. So I mean, obviously Morningwood, Raggy, we have Irish. There's a lot of people who are very. I mean, I don't even know if I gave Peakley an option. Peakley's our vice commissar. I'm not even sure if I gave him an option to be in the regiment. I think I just told him, and then it was actually funny when he said, Peakley asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you ever think about delegating like leadership to other people? Like maybe we need a little more." People. We need people around the clock. Diversity of time. That way, you don't take on such a large load. And I just told him, that's an outstanding recommendation, Peakley. You've been promoted to vice commissar. And his response was, copy that. So conscription, I don't see it as bad. I just don't. We can have discussions about it. I will say it's an active policy that we are adjusting with the flow of time, depending on our needs, depending on our security needs, depending on the needs of our player base. It's just fluctuating. But right now it's pretty loose, but we have a conscript system. So if you're worried about security, don't worry. They're a conscript until we can prove that, until they can prove themselves, worthy of a full membership, which isn't that hard, right? But typically speaking, people coming in to looking to spy and willing to work. They're looking for the easy information grab, which, to be fair, I ain't hiding. Our facilities, our operations, we ain't hiding, Encouraging communications. Questions should ideally be posted in the Discord, CG Casual. So long as you feel they're not a security issue, I'd be okay with you putting them in public unsecure. Typically, we want to leave that room. We want to leave that for people who are not members or conscripts. It just allows other people to benefit from the answers. If you have a question and it's going to be answered, try to put it in casual. Try not to DM. DM should be reserved for personal or sensitive issues. I know my DMs are usually blasted if I go longer than 12 hours. I know Peakwees are probably blasted as well. And usually they're not even, from me particularly, they're not even blasted by members of the regiment. They're blasted by people who join the Discord that are from other regiments. So if they can't get a hold of me, they'll get a hold of Peakwee, but it should be for sensitive or personal issues. And we're looking for leadership positions for multiple areas. One of the areas being public relations and ambassadors that represent, CG. And to be fair, we're all ambassadors of CG, right? If you're a CG member, you represent them, you're an ambassador, right? So just try to, put on a good face, make a good impression wherever you go. We're not a community that likes to foster hate or negative, negativity. Our mission statement that we put out. So the mission statements is both for public relations and a tool to unify us in a similar direction in terms of CG leadership and groups or cliques. I'm all fine with groups and cliques. I would just ask that you don't exclude people. Nobody has to play with anybody that they don't want to play with. They don't have to exclude them. And I'm happy to say that I'm just saying that ahead of time. We don't actually have that issue. No, I don't think anybody here, if you don't like playing with somebody, it hasn't been made known. People, we talk shit, we banter, and it's all fun and games. If it becomes an issue, those things will be handled on an individual case by case basis. But we generally don't have those issues. The next question was, what is the mission statement for? So the mission statement is just basically to align the regiment and help it have a good cohesion as the regiment grows, right? The regiment's growing fast. It's growing faster than I anticipated. I thought we'd only have 100 members, maybe less by now, and we have almost triple that amount. So it's just to keep everybody on the same page, right? Leaderships, we're not going to force people to cite or, rehearse the mission statement, but you should have at least read it once and have a general understanding that if you're a CG community member, you're a CG community member, not a halberd community member, not a 82 DK community member. If you want to go play with those regiments, absolutely fine. I support you. I still want you to play with us because we like you. If you join CG, we like you. If you talk to, we like you. Just let us know so that we can change you to auxiliary role, and you're welcome anytime. Right. So it's just a way to align and create cohesion. That's it. As of right now, I've answered all the questions that were sent to me ahead of time. I'm going to be answering more questions right now. If you have any of them, please let me know or type them in the public unsecure. So give me 1 second as I look over. We do have a question in chat. You look. So Raj says that he does not see CG Casual. CG Casual is a secure channel. Raj, you can post that in public in the questions if you have a question. So we have one question. Good afternoon. I have a question, if I may. I plan to switch to Warden 118, and I'd love to bring my crew and run gunboats in the name of CG as an integrated division or squad within CG. Would that be possible? Absolutely, 100%. We'd love to help you. You would just let us know what you want the squad to be. We typically like doing squads that are lore friendly or roleplay friendly with what we already are, which is Warhammer 40K. If you want it to be more military, I'm absolutely fine with that. We can create squads and roles separate for you, so that people know that you're somebody who has an expertise in terms of naval combat. That's absolutely acceptable. To preface, I wouldn't want to be separate entity, still within the hierarchy of CG, but would love to focus on gunboat missions, foster a micro community of naval enjoyers within CG. That'd be awesome. We'd love to have you. I have no issues with that. I don't see it becoming an issue. Everything I said, I don't think anything that I said would you'd run into an issue with. Are there any more questions you could type in the CG stage chat? Hoorah! Um, State of the regiment. Yeah, so I don't see any more questions. What I am going to do, though, I am going to yield my time as I've answered all the questions. And since I'm yielding my time, you can raise your hand if anybody would like to speak at any on any topic. They would like to say anything. You may, if you have any questions, you can click the raise hand button, and we can go ahead and manage speakers' time. I don't want to keep you, like, again, this is voluntary. I don't want to keep you for amount of time that you're not willing to sit here for. I am willing to sit here for as long as it takes to get this done because I am on stage right now. Somebody had a question. Let me know if you guys want to speak. Horizon, it's an honor to die beside your side, gentlemen. Salute. Copy, Lemon. I yield back my time. We're going to be communicating through chat. I'll be in I'll be in this meeting for the next 5 minutes. If anybody comes up with something to ask, I will answer it. If anybody wants to speak within those 5 minutes time, I'll allot you that time for as long as you need, and I'll be here to listen to it. After that 5 minute allotment, if nothing happens, I'll be concluding the meeting. So we did have a question. What's the preferred faction lore for Warhammer 40K? We have our own lore. We are guardsmen of the Imperium. We adopt a lot of characters from the Death Corps of Krieg. That's what we're inspired by, and that's what our roles are inspired by. It's the Warhammer universe, the Imperium. Somebody asked me a question right now, and the question was, "Is my girlfriend real?" She is real. I do have a girlfriend. She's right here. Say hi.
I'm actually his sister, but
It's not. That's not. That's not lore. That's not history. That's not accurate. Fuck.
queen. Hey yo.
Sounds like heresy. His girlfriend is his sister.
Sweet home Alabama. Oh, first you fucking did the poop thing again.
Nice. All right. We're coming up on the 2 minute mark. In CG Public, is affection allowed? Within reason, and so long as it is appropriate, yes, affection is allowed. Yes, caused. 2 minute mark. Nobody wants to say anything. That's fine. We're not forcing anybody to say anything. I'm just putting myself on stage for you guys to ask me questions for full transparency. But that's going to be concluding the meeting in the next 2 minutes here. If anybody has anything to say, I will stay here for them to ask or answer or comment on anything.
I can kiss my CG homies.
He's a goofball. It's too bad that I don't have a live chat of the. Hold on, I'll put on stream the live chat of what's going on. I'll scroll through it so you guys can see what everybody else is saying. Let me look. What did I do? Display capture. This is the live chat over here. This is where we started, so that everybody at home can see what they talked about in the CG stage chat.
Blasphemy.
Like, hell yeah, I want to kiss my homies while we fire the 150 artillery like real men from Callahan. We could definitely make the video public. I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's fine. I'll make it public, and you could put it out somewhere. I'll change the name to State of the Regiment. Yep. I'll be concluding the meeting now. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, you guys can put them in State of the Regiment, and I'll answer them, and they'll be on paper for you to review. Thank you guys again for your time. You guys have a good time out there. Have fun. Have a good week. The rest of your week. Kill some colonials.
I forgot to say the Emperor protects.
Oh, darn, the Emperor protects.